The mountain runs down the valley and joins the Roman town of Martigny in the Swiss Valais region at the foot of the Mont Blanc. Each year, around mid-October, a strange fever engulfs the region. It's time for the Battle of the Queens. A queen fight is more than a peasant cliché. It's a vivid representation of their core identity. Rural tradition, cows and mountains are at the heart of the values that enrich the Alpine arc. Alan Ballet is an owner, and his cow, Cherry, is one of the favorites.
It's always a nice celebration, but when you bring your own animals in, you don't see much of it. You're fidgety and tense. If the cows fight, that's great. If they don't, it's a bad day. This one is Piquette, and the queen is Cherry. There are 200 cows. Everyone thinks that his or her stands a chance. As she is a mountain queen, she should have a better chance of winning, but a fight is a fight.
Cows have always fought to designate the herd's leader. Fights in the mountain pastures, as well as in neighboring villages, determine which one will face each other in the arena of Martigny. It's near here that a bronze cow's head from the Roman era was found, as well as an engraving representing a 10,000-year-old interlacing of horns. The Heron's breed is originally from a neighboring valley and has always been considered as the true mountain pasture cow. These queens of the arena are given names more resounding than their cowbells: Lioness, Furor, Dragon, Thunder, Tigress. The owners want to know more about their opponents. Jean-Yves Gabot of the Queen's Gazette is the journalist covering the fights.
The animals are placed in the arena randomly and start fighting instinctively. To determine the ranking, if two of the animals haven't fought and are at the sides of the arena, the jury asks for the cows to be brought closer together. When two animals fight and a third one comes near them, it must be kept at a distance. As soon as a cow loses 3 battles, it's eliminated. The jury keeps track of all the fights and which one each time. These people are experts. They know cattle and are used to this kind of event. It's hard work because people often contest the results. As the stakes for the breeders are very high, they must be very accurate. If an animal is ranked queen, its value will go up, whereas if it's eliminated, its value will certainly go down. 40,000 Swiss francs were offered to the owner of the district queen.
Originally, the Queen Fest was a game made up by peasants during the summer season spent in the mountains. A dominant cow would naturally take the lead of the herd and become the pasture queen. The first organized fights in the Valais took place in 1922. It's in the war's aftermath that they became more structured, much to resemble what they are today, a yearly tournament between the strongest animals.
As a Valaisian, I was born in a rural community. I wasn't born directly near cows because my parents didn't have any. But in my family, there were people that had some. So, since I was a kid, I've sort of taken care of that. My job has nothing to do with cows. I'm a pharmacist. It's a hobby. You can't explain passion, you live it. You either love something or you don't. We're born into it. It's like any passion. It's part of life. There she's on hard ground. She's okay, but it's a hard battle. She still has lots to do. Lots to do. Go, Sherry. Go. Go now.
To reward the best cows, the jury will hand out a bell. This is to honor the prestige and competence of the breeder and also underline regional differences. Pierre Giovanola is a bell maker in Saint-Branché at the foot of the Grand Saint-Bernard.
The bell enables us to know where the cattle is in the fog. There are cliffs, all kinds of obstacles, and we can locate it through sound. That's why we put bells on cows. We have to in mountain pastures. Never seen a cow without a bell. It's not possible. You can change the bell sound. If you want it to be clearer or deeper, all you have to do is hit the metal harder or softer. When I work the metal with the hammer, if I hit harder, it thins the iron sheet and gives it a deeper ring. If I hit less, it gives it a higher note. Listen, this one has clearing. It's because it's more closed and the metal was less thinned right here. The more closed it is, the clearer the sound. This one has a deeper ring. And it's because it's more open. And this one's in between.
The Valais Fair, where the fights take place, attracts more than 5,000 people. It's an opportunity for the whole rural community to meet with each other after the summer season spent in the mountain pasture and to compare the value of the different herds. The quality of the cattle is impressive. Almost 40 heads out of 200 have already been given awards during previous fights. Cherry, Alan Ballet's #1, is a new mountain pasture queen. This title requires first-rate qualities, but those queens are not always comfortable in an arena. Up until now, most opponents have refused to fight with Cherry. Pervenche is the only one to stand bravely up to her.
Favorite is number 17.
Diane, number 17, is fighting fiercely. She has dominated her mountain pasture for 3 years. With a 2.15-meter chest range, she's a mastodon who seems unbeatable. To everyone's surprise, Biscuit, number 7, is the winner. The path to the semifinals, and maybe even to victory, is opening up for Cherry.
She'll be either queen or second.
Cherry wins again, and the moment Alain has been waiting for, the finals, has finally arrived.
It's a beautiful day. It makes it easier to get up early in the morning and care for the animals.
Daughter and granddaughter of a queen, Cherry has maintained the tradition and has become the new Valais region queen. It takes 5 years to train a good fighter, and at 9 years old they start to decline. It goes to show how short a queen's career is and how few can last. To be born a queen's daughter, a princess of sorts, is not always enough to take over. Chandelin is a small village 2,000 meters high in the Asnières Valley. Here, as in numerous alpine villages, life is focused on cattle breeding, and it's not unusual to find a few queen magicians. Gustave Zouffery knows all about this.
In all these stables, there were 4 or 5 animals, and everyone hoped for a queen, to which they would give extra care. I was called the cow sorcerer because I was able to save some that the veterinarians said were done for. I've been a healer since I was young. I started at the age of 15 by reading books. I had an uncle who was a healer and who taught me. He could see that I liked it, and he took me with him. You learn by doing. This breed is short, closer to the ground than the others, and not as heavy. They carry around less weight and are sure-footed on mountain pastures. They can go anywhere, almost like chamois. They don't all have a combative personality. They could be good-looking cows that don't want to fight. To find a real queen, you've got to do your homework. You've got to know her style a little and watch her. It's just like for people. You look them in the eye. The eye says a lot. The way they move, the way they fight, and how fast they are. To get a real queen is hard. I had the district, the county, and the mountain pasture queen. Her name was Farouk, and at the last mountain pasture, she was still queen. She fought with the second in line, a fight that lasted, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. Her horns were high up like this. She would lower her head and hit her horns from underneath. She won, and when the fight ended, she dropped dead of a heart attack.
Natural barriers have never been an obstacle for man, and exchanges between communities during the summer season go way back. So it's not surprising to find the Herons breed on the other side of the mountain in Italy, in the autonomous region of the Aoste Valley. After spending 115 days mountain pasturing, the Pont family is preparing to return to the valley. Historian and vice president of Queen's Fight, Bernard Clot, came to lend them a hand.
This bouquet is the symbol of the Cogne Valley. It's an honor for the cow because she feels proud when she has it. The red bouquet is for the horned queen. The white bouquet for the milk queen. The white bouquet is a symbol of milk and gentleness, whereas red is the color of blood, victory. It's for the fighting cow. It's almost as if the cow knows that the bouquet was given to her because she's queen. One who was queen for several years in mountain pastures, as the years go by, gets used to having the bouquet. If you take it away, on top of her not being queen anymore, it makes her sick. Some bouquets were put on cows just to calm them down. They were too agitated. We knew something wasn't right.
The bells are passed down from generation to generation. The ones Laurent Pont owns are more than 100 years old. The leather straps deteriorate quickly, however, and must be replaced from time to time. Fabrice Martin is a leather maker in Aoste.
Breeding is hard work. One of the breeder's joys is to have good bells and good cows for fighting or for milk. We're always trying something new, even though we work traditionally. There are old drawings we've made for 50, 60 years. Always the same drawing with the same pattern. Everything around cow fighting is linked to popular tradition. So we've got to maintain and renew that tradition. I think queen fights have become the basis of breeding in the region. Many young people have started keeping cows to bring them to fight. Because it's an opportunity to meet with the others every week, a time to confront breeders and their animals. And to improve the Aoste Valley breed. It's a very important moment in the life of a breeder. It's almost the end of the season when the big finale takes place. There will be many people there and also the best cows from the Aoste Valley.
Surrounded by 4,000-meter-high peaks, the Pont family's mountain pasture is 2,000 meters high. You don't live on a mountain pasture by chance. The grass is richer than in the valley and gives better quality cheese. When the first frost nips at the grass and the tree's leaves turn colors with fall, the pastures become poor. So for Laurel Pont, the time has come to go back down to the valley. This event, linked with the change in season, is an intimate moment for family members who go down together towards the stables of the valley. And the cows are happy to find better pastures and a less rigorous climate.
She came in third last year at the regional competition. This year, she's the queen of my cows. Today's the day we go down to the valley. It's the nicest summer event.
Each cow would meet the others over time, and still does in the mountain pastures. We'd mix the herds, and there'd be conflict among them. The people from one local community would often bring their queens at the border of another community to defy the other queens. Man organized these celebrations so that the cows could meet. The animals aren't forced to do it. It must be as old as breeding. It goes back to the very first years when man tamed cows.
Every year, on the third Sunday of October, the Roman city of Aoste is deserted. The queen fight phenomena attracts the attention and curiosity of an ever-growing crowd. More than 10,000 people attend the regional finals in which Laurel Pont is participating.
I think she's in good shape, but she's a little small for the first category. There are too many heavyweights. She's a pretty cow, though.
The specificity of the fights in the Aoste Valley is that all the queens must not only be mountain pasture queens, but also queen mothers. After weighing them to determine which category they fall into, an ultrasound is performed to check if the animals whose names were drawn are with calf. In the same way, it is seen to that the horns are not too sharp so the opponents don't get injured. Official speaker for the event, Bernard Clot is also an expert.
It's not the males who fight. The cows are defending their place in the hierarchy, their territory. It's just a show of strength, skill, and endurance, nothing more. When the female realizes her opponent's superiority, she backs down, and that's that. A queen has a strong neck and short legs. The shorter the legs, the more strength she has in her neck. That way, she can prevent her opponent from getting her from underneath. If that happens, the cow can push its horn into the stomach area, which makes the other leave because it hurts. Cows are not very good with pain. They can't stand it long.
The breeder's pride for his animals is very exclusive. To immortalize a queen, it's not unusual for an owner to call on Virin, a wood sculptor.
The cow is the main inspiration for my sculptures. As a kid, I'd make little cows with bells. I also own cows and some queens. I try to find the right movement and rhythm at the time of the fight. I really like to give life to a sculpture. I always start with an idea, then I look for the wood. If I don't find it, I change my idea.
The first round takes all afternoon. Cow number 43, Negra, Loro's protege, intelligently horns her opponent and is qualified for the quarterfinals.
Now is a difficult moment. It's to get qualified for the semifinals. This is where I always lose. Now it's over. I don't know which one she's going to fight with, but it's over now. She won't win. But she's okay anyway. The difference in weight is too big. Mine weighs 660 kilos, and that one more than 800. There's a gap of almost 200 kilos. She felt she was fighting against a mountain. The other was unbudgeable. She didn't move.
The final takes place at dusk. Mignonne, number 67, and Morin, number 5, are of equal weight and strength. Watched by their owners, the cows seem to ignore each other as if to better surprise the opponent. Breathing heavily, nostrils fuming, a queen's intelligence is obvious, especially when the two fighters reach the finals. As soon as one of them realizes she is heavier than the other, she resorts to the ram tactic. In a close battle, she tries to dominate through endurance. The battle combines power and agility. The most vigorous one makes many hits with her horns until she wins with one decisive hit and becomes the queen of the arena.